Welcome to Factorio Train Megabase. My name is Nilaus and this is the first episode of a new series of Factorio here on my channel. It's also my first 0.18 series, so it's going to be exciting as well. So, brand new series. What is the space we're looking at? How is it all coming together? Let me start by just introducing the concept of this series and the base, the mods, where we are, planning ahead, all of that things. So, it's called Train Megabase because I wanted to make a megabase with trains that is just has a lot of small trains running around. Now, if I want to do that, then I can start from scratch, but I think we've started from scratch a lot of times. So if only I had a base that was already built, it had the capability to launch a rocket, as you can see in the top left-hand corner, and but is ready and has all the infrastructure we need, so we can start working on the Megabase design and transition. So I have released a video some time ago with called Transition to Megabase, where I sort of go through the motions of how to do that, what to consider, and now we are basically going to implement it. I think I'll add a description below or some link up in the corner or something. You can find it on my channel if you are interested in that tutorial. So in this series, I will be taking my current base. This is the base at the end of Trainwell, plus I've been doing a lot of work as off camera to just make it nice and symmetrical. So this episode will be more of a base tour and strategies and planning for what is going to happen in this series. Now let's without further ado dive in. There are a few mods, and you can see here that tricking along. We have the names of the patrons. Each patron of the channel is getting a little train, and depending on the tier of patron support, they get different size of trains. And you can see here there is still an ongoing competition about who will be the first train to run me over. So far no one has succeeded in that task, but it's gonna happen, we know it. So there'll be a lot of trains, I hope. And that's one of the things. The other thing is the other mod that I have a few convenience mods, such as squeak through and even distribution, those kind of small mods. But the only other functionality mod I have is Logistic Train Network, because I absolutely love Logistic Train Network. It allows me to build a nice big train network and make sure they get fueled correctly and don't get into all sorts of bottlenecks, and I can create a really distributed network, which is exactly what I'm doing in this space. Now that's sort of on the mod part. Let's talk about the train system just in general. As we zoom in, you can see the one characteristic of the train system is, well, several different characteristics. It is right-hand drive. The trains are either 1-4 trains, 1-2 trains, or 1-1 trains. The train system is double laned. It is split into city blocks, where I either have a station city block with 3 on one side, 3 on the other side. I have a T intersection, or I have a corner. And the T intersection, as you will notice, I do not have any roundabouts or any cross intersection. That is very deliberate. It also gives me a very interesting pattern. This is the pattern we've sort of designed. It starts from the center, at the center of everything we have our signs block, and on each side we have trains coming in. Then we have the signs being built on the next circle around it, and then we can sort of go out and build more composite items, more advanced items. I'll have the corner here, green, green, red, red, blue, blue, green, green, and then we'll scale up from there. Then ideally I would want sort of base materials and less used materials on the further outskirts, such as copper smelting, iron smelting, steel smelting. A lot of the things are very low quantity right now, but that's because I didn't want to, at the first base, the one that the series called Train World, I didn't want to build it too big, because that's what we're going to do here in this series. So that's basically some of the characteristics. You can see here I have landfill, but only sort of rudimentary landfill. That's something we're going to have to do. Aside from this, we are also transitioning into some more aesthetic views here, or aesthetic look and feel of it, I think, at least. I like it. So That's definitely what we are going to do. I need to make a lot of stone bricks so I can spam it out everywhere. But that's something we're going to just have the robots do as we transition. You can see out here in the outskirts, we still have sort of the basic stone path. And as we get closer to this core, we have now a bit nicer with the reinforced, so I can run faster. Less time to get hit on by trains. Right, so that's basically the train system. That is the mods we covered. Now let's talk about sort of the planning of the space. So as you can see, let's just zoom in on something like really, before we start planning, I have disabled biters because this is a series about building trains and building big, and I needed a lot of space here before I was able to really build up a lot of science for biter slaying. Now this means that I simply just spend too much time as part of a YouTube series on clearing biters again and again, or I would have to be spending time off camera clearing biters. And if I spend time off camera clearing biters, what's the point then? This is about sort of what goes on into the actual content. So I decided to just simply nix the at some point. There are some disadvantages of it. It would be nice to have some artillery trains and that kind of thing. But on the other hand, what I've also seen is that once I add artillery trains, it just becomes me clicking out here to push out all over the place. And it's just getting really boring, either doing on or off camera. So we've all seen how to kill biters. That's not going to be interesting. So what is going to be interesting is the scale up here as we go into the base. So talking about scale up. Let's look at something as pathetic as the blue science build. Now this one is obviously not very Megabase like. Also, I have a little supplementary build of engines, and that those engines should be built in a dedicated engine block, but that was built later, so I have not changed the requesting. Now also, like here, there are just a few mods here or modules. We don't have module production, so a lot of the things that we're going to do is go through every single stop and upgrade them to some nice crisp designs using modules, beacons, that kind of thing. But we are not able to do that as of yet because we simply do not have the infrastructure for it. So the first thing as we transition into a Megabase will be we need to sort out our power and we need to sort out a module production. So we need to make sure that we have a consistent module production. So far we do not have any module production. So that's going to be one of the first things, building more modules, building more trains. In order for us to build more modules, it means building more of the circuits. The circuits are going to build. So I'm not going to jump straight into, because I think that's a mistake. I'm not going to jump straight from here into fully moduled and beacon builds. I'm going to do a transitional step where we're going to scale up our reds, greens, blues, add modules, then the copper and iron and plastic to support it. That's going to be the intermediate step. Once we have that, we have the capability to build lots of modules and beacons and have enough power to move forward. Once that's the case, then we can start looking at stuff like science to scale that up with a nice fat build of with modules and beacons. So that's my expectation for this base. Each episode will be focused on one upgrade building, or maybe more, depending on how efficient we are. But it actually, it's basically something like this is in my opinion, a really nice build for red circuit. It takes a full block. It uses a lot of materials. I'm not getting enough copper in. That's pretty obvious. If the belts were full, that would be exactly the same quantity for each. And I basically just have this one producing. Once it's producing, I can just stamp this down up here and then get another one as well. That's going to be somewhat what we're going to do so that we can scale up the base. Currently we are running on nuclear power, which is completely idle. I've just set a condition here that if there's any steam in here, then, well, there's more than 20,000 steam, then they go idle. And you can see they've now cooled down. No, they stay at high temperature because nothing is consuming. That's actually really weird. Never mind. Oh, right. It must have gone down and inserted again. It's been, and then I have a lot of solar panels scattered around the world. What I'll also do is add more solar panels out into the perimeters in locations such as these, where I don't have any materials or don't really feel like it. Because once I have my robots going, then just adding more modules or adding more solar panels, it's easy. And if I later on need that block for something else, I can just remove the solar panels and repurpose it. Right, so that's basically going to be sort of the theme of this base. I think that we can maybe start doing some of the things that we want to do. Like, what are the kind of the first things? First of all, we have one other thing. I have a global robot network. I use this primarily for my construction bots, so that everything gets constructed and I can just issue commands out here. If I want to build something, then I can issue commands and it gets built. It takes a while to fly back and forth, but it can work. Now, I do not have any logistics bots. Well, I do have logistics bots bringing to me, but I'm not using any logistics chests. Now, that's something I might want to change, because in this area where I need to build the hub, I really want to be able to move faster, and this one is okay. You can see here there's no, this is where I would be producing the blue, purple and green chests if I needed it. Right, so let's start looking at some of the things we want to do. Well, one very easy thing is just taking something like this and going entities, but not like this, and then go here and let's see if I can actually align it. It's not going to be as easy as that one. That should be aligned. And I'm also going to do it the same over here. So this is not exactly what we are going to be spending the majority of our time on, but we just need the robots to get busy here. Now, another thing. Oh, hello, train. Oh, it would be great if I just kill myself on this one, right? Haha. And I'm going to do it again over here. I'm not going to do it for everyone. That one. But since this one is basically something we need, I can take this exact build, because it's kind of nice, and then go to this location and then say, all right, coming in from this side. So coming in and going out, that means coming in and going out. I also need to remove these. They don't serve a purpose anymore. It means I need to rotate like twice. What is in the way? Radar is in the way. Yeah, that one isn't. Oh, it's kind of obvious. Because that one isn't needed, and I'm pretty sure I then have an extra radar. Yes, we do. Which we don't want. And I can then, at this point, also upgrade. Yeah. You want every single build we make to be upgraded with tiling as well. So this one, just casually building, and we are going to build substations out here. We can just take all this out. And this is basically, we need more red circuits. We always need more red circuits. If there's anything that if you want to summarize something in Factorio, it's just like, you need more red circuits. I'm going to do this part here. And then there will be some things that I will remove. Such as this over here. This is junk. We don't have that part. Okay. And as you can hear, if you're not familiar with 0.18, I am not. There are a lot of weird sounds in the game now that you just have to get used to. Like, robots make sounds when they're flying by. Like, that was me making robot sounds, in case you were wondering. There, and also a radar that should not be here. That one is not working. You can hear them. There are really interesting sounds. I guess we will either get really tired of them, or we will learn to love those small squeaky noises. robots are making. I don't know. It's gonna be fun anyway. This one, we can also just copy paste it to this location. This is the brilliant part about the way it's done. It's just 2.1 maybe, yeah, and 2.2. I think that's more like it. 2.2. I like knowing that they belong like that. And down here, where was it? Up here. Yeah, that one will be 1.1, and the other one will be 1.2. Okay, so immediately you can see how aggressively we start building, and there we go. It's as easy as this. We have now built another red circuit build, I hope. And obviously some things are not working because they are not able to unload. There we go. That's again a new weird sound. Swish, 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 swish. This one, unloading. The next one is standing by here, and that's kind of an issue. It really shouldn't be. I don't know. It's going to be so rare that I get 2 trains in that I don't really want to try to limit it. Also, it didn't unload fast enough because off we go. And the next one comes in. But we will probably also need to do some things with our network here just to make sure, the train network adjustments. We don't know how, where, and why, but okay, there we go. The green ones are coming in. The plastic is probably not going to work very well. What we're also going to do is start placing some of these locations, because we also need iron and copper will be some of the most important things that we want to make. And I think I want to make it like, I kind of lean on this, but maybe that's not the best place to make it. Maybe I want to make it one more out. Some of those locations up here, we can just go. If we look at our logistics network, we have 97,000 landfill. I had to do some bit of preparations for this, so we can also just stamp down some of this. I'm going to keep some of this alive out here, for the simple reason that it's actually really nice to have water somewhere around if you suddenly want to build a blue circuit or some sulfur or, you know, whatever. Sometimes you just need a bit of water, and I'm just gonna fill these out. Another thing that we will focus on quite soon in this one is actually building a dashboard, so that we can kind of get a sense of what we have in the logistics network. But as you can see, we just started working, and now it's just everything's getting really busy here. Good. That one is red circuits as well. Now this one is almost, let's look at the amount of, yeah, we still have stone bricks, so I can still do something like this. Boom. Now that one also gets some tiling because we are done with it. I mean, we're not done, but it kind of is. That's interesting. This has got a new color, liquids. Now, excuse me, but wouldn't it be awesome if these things were light blue, that they also made the pipes light blue? Then we can actually, oh, are they? They kind of are, but it's not a very clear difference. Also, roboports have a different color yellow. I don't know. We just need to get used to all these weird things that are in the space. And let's see. So we have a couple of greens, a couple of, now an extra red circuit. I think that's going to be just a good starting point for this base, because we also want to read the science. What would we want to do? I think the most important one is extra here and that one, but really we don't really need all of this. But what we really want is robot. We actually want more robots there. That's gonna be 2 and 4 and 8, and then we can start the other ones. It's gonna take forever. Let's have a look at the science. So the science is actually not even built. That's kind of an important one. Let's run up and build the science, because that's going to be prerequisite for us to... Oh, those trains, man. Right now they're running on solid fuel. That also needs to be changed to running on rocket fuel. We are running in because we do have our... I'm just trying to look at the signals to see if they're green on either side. That means it should be safe-ish to run. There's no such thing as safe crossing here. And let's see. So this one, I can just take something like this. No. Yeah. And first I take this out, and then this one will be requesting something else. It'll be requesting space science hack layer. And obviously should be reds or blues here. Yeah, jumping across, and I think what I need to do is, let's see, which one is empty? This one is empty, right? The red one all the way down. Yes, red one is empty. So I'm gonna just put it into the red here, and then I'm gonna flip the red ones. And I know that I am here using some yellow belts, and who the hell uses yellow belts? Luckily this is not something that works very fast. If I look at this, then theoretically it should be possible for me to upgrade this part. You want to go give it a show? Give it a shot. Let's try it. What could possibly go wrong? Oh, like a lot. A lot of things could go wrong. I probably just ruined everything here. Shoot. What is this? That's an underground that needs to become red. There, and then I'll try the red ones. So that goes from here, and that goes there. How is that now suddenly turned the wrong way? That just doesn't make any sense. Now they're all the wrong way. That one. That one. That flipped direction. For some reason. When I placed it, it flipped direction. There we go, that one. Up. Here. What are the other ones? Okay, who knows if it works. Actually, I don't even have my favorite mod, even distribution. I don't even have that. That's horrible. I love that mod. It's basically just allowing you to take stuff you have in hand and put it into boxes. Right, this one and is not powered. It is still not powered. How are the other ones? I think it comes from here. Good. That one, this one will be, and it goes to 8,000. So this is going to be minus 16. That's obviously going to throw a warning because it doesn't have any. And I want to make sure that we are getting this one. This is going outbound, and there is exactly 1,000 I have done here. I have set auto launch with rockets. Each of these are working. Look at the amount of satellite that has been created. Unfortunately, well, not surprisingly, we do not have a stable supply of. So we have now reactivated the base. We have built our first little block. We have made our first little mistake. We have not been run over by trains, but aside from this, I think we've also been working on city blocks and robot abuse. So I think that with the exception of getting run over by a train, I think this episode has everything you would expect from a Nilaus episode of Factorio. So that's going to be it for the very first episode. I hope that you are going to be as excited as I am about the future prospects of this little base here. How we're going to tweak and turn and abuse it to get to the scale that we really want. I have no real target about the scale because I think it's going to be a mess with trains, but it's going to be fun. We're going to start working probably towards 2K science, just as a good starting point. I may just revise that if I do a bit of math between sessions. But first, it's not about sort of the end goal right now. It's about building the base that builds the base. So let me, since this is the very first episode, ask you to help me out with a like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. I know that I try not to mention it, even though you should on YouTube, then, but it really means a lot, especially for the first episode of a new series, so that it gets a bit of traction and hopefully maybe attracts a few more people who are interested in Factorio building big. So thank you very much for watching. Hope to see you in the next episode coming tomorrow. Until next time, stay effective.